Hello everybody and welcome back to The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth plus with me, Penta Hybrid. I'm incredibly tired. This is going to be a weird episode if I end up not talking too much. I just want you to be aware. It's currently 2 a.m. I haven't slept. I started with wait what? Which re-rolled this into compound fracture. Oh, look at that new Bloody Lust sprite from the Uma Sprite mod. Or not really Sprite mod, but the overhaul mod. I like it. Samson. Can't argue with a Samson. Everybody like a Samson. Starting with a compound fracture. Not a bad item. Serious synergies afoot. I think that was worth it. But yeah, there's like a lack of just talking. You guys are well aware. You know what happens during like the sleepy streams. When I'm like super tired, I haven't slept, y'all know it's gonna either get real weird or it's just gonna be a lot quieter than normal. And I'm currently on the boat of quiet because if I get too excitable, that was hard for me to say for some reason. If I get too excitable, I'll have the tendency of just like freaking out and wanting to go to bed and get tired and get tired and wanting to go to bed. And I don't want to go to bed because I have to be to work in like 2.5 hours. Basically, if I try and fall asleep now, or if I do fall asleep now, there is no way in God's green earth that I will be up for work, which means either A, I'm going to be late, or B, I'm going to feel like shit and call in, which I don't want to do. I've had some interesting things happen in my life in the recent past month, which has kind of put, not in jeopardy or anything, but kind of put my attendance below the mark where I want it to be, just because of outstanding circumstances, and that's shit that life is gonna throw at you. But you gotta deal with those things, even if it's just like, hey, I woke up this morning, I've got like pseudo heat stroke and I'm basically puking all over my bathroom floor, not gonna be in today, kind of stuff like that. I don't want anybody to be worried about my well-being or my health. I'm doing just fine. I've gotten sick a lot this year, even if it's just like something like small. Like I used to never get sick. I don't know what's happening with my immune system. It's just gotten weaker over the past like 5 years. I know that's something that happens when you get older, but I'm like not super old. I'm aged, but I'm not like super old, and so it's one of those things that I gotta kind of think about it a little more than I used to. Where it's like, oh well, I've gotten a throat infection, a lung infection, and like just flus and shit all throughout this year that I would never have gotten before. And now it's like, well, maybe I should just like not read into it like it's nothing. Maybe I should actually pay attention and take better care of your body. Like, if you have like a throat infection, actually just go get medicine. Go to see a doctor. Don't be stubborn and think, oh, it's just gonna fix itself. No, just go see a doctor. Alright, I used to hate seeing doctors. I used to never see doctors. It was one of my least favorite things in the world, was, a paid physician. I would be like, why? The body is born with the ability to heal itself, and it is, to an extent. I've had lots of injuries and shit like that have perfectly fine, taking care of themselves without any need for a physician at all. However, this year taught me anything, excuse the yawn, If this year has taught me anything about my physique, it is the fact that there's a reason these people have gone to school for like 7+ years. You go in there, they know what they're talking about. They hear you talk about what's wrong with you. They can either tell you if you're bullshitting, or if it's something stupid, or if it's something serious, and then how to fix it if they can fix it. Simple as that. And you know what? It's good. It's a good thing that they're there for people, because without paid physicians, without doctors and nurses and surgeons and shit like that, we would be fucked as a society, pretty much. Also, I enjoy having money, and so, like, calling into work because I couldn't sleep, or I chose not to sleep, or I'm just an irresponsible adult that decided that this was a good idea, even though, like, half of my insomnia comes from the fact that I try to sleep and can't, and then I'm just like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna stay up and I'll have to find something to do while I stay up, so it's either, like, stream, or watch a movie, or something like that. Something to stimulate the mind while I try and not fall asleep, because there's a specific threshold that I'm sure anybody here that's a working adult can, you know, understand, especially if you're a working adult past the age of, like, 24, can probably understand that it's like, at a certain age, with or without insomnia, there is a actual specific time on your schedule, on your daily schedule that you have, where if you go to sleep past that point, there is no coming back. There is no coming back. You're going to be late for work. You are going to sleep in and completely just miss work. The bad shit will happen if you fall asleep past that point. That is what being an adult of, you know, my caliber is like. Where it's like, if I go to bed on my schedule, on my shift, the hours that I work, basically, I'm expected to be at work at a specific point. If I go to bed after 10 p.m., I may as well just stay up or decide to go to just fucking whatever. I may as well just not even try to go to work. Also, D100, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. You guys. There's no choice here. Not only because it basically guarantees me a win, but also just because it's been a while since we've had a D100 run, to be honest. Should have saved it for here. I'm going to take both of these. Don't want to reroll either of those, but you know what? May as well. May as well. That was terrible. And the worst part of all of it, and this is like the actual like worst part of it all, is the fact that, interesting. Succubus looks very strange, but I can't tell if I like it or not. The thing is that it's never actually a good idea. Pulling an all-nighter, no matter who you are, will always immediately be regretful about an hour after that threshold is met. And I do sincerely mean that. Like, so what I mean by that, of course, this actually seems like something I want to play with. And what I mean by that is, like, so for instance, my threshold is 10 p.m. If I don't fall asleep before 10 p.m., I'm basically fucked. And so what that generally means, in general speak, is if my threshold is 10 p.m. So if I go to bed post 10 p.m., there's so many batteries. There's actually too many batteries. Hold on. What the fuck is this tier rate? I love it. 179. 179 tier rate. But, immediately the person is regretful. So, like, 10 p.m., I'm like, alright, I need to go to bed. I actually need to go to bed. Let's take care of this. Let's go lay down. Get ready to go to sleep at, like, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Get ready to go to bed. Like, alright, we're laying down, getting ready to sleep, getting some nap times in. Nice, nice, nice. But then you end up not being able to fall asleep, and you're like, okay, well, shit, I have to either stay up now, or risk, having to call into work, or missing work, or, getting to sleep and waking up, because there is, like, the smallest possibility of it happening. Actually falling asleep, getting up, and being able to get to work the next day, but feeling like death himself owns your soul. It's not until about 20 to 30 minutes afterward that regret finally sinks in, and you're like, wait a second. This was actually a terrible idea. Now I have like 7 hours that I need to pass time by. Instead of just laying down trying to fall asleep and passing out, I actually have to find a meaningful use for the next 7 hours so that I can finally get to work, get this day over with, and be able to sleep tomorrow, hopefully. I don't want to, give the impression that, like, people with insomnia or sleeping issues, it's like a breeze, because it never is. Like, I oftentimes, when I talk about it, I'm like, oh, it's no problem. Because to me it isn't. I've been with it for my whole life. But let that not make people think it's, oh, it's, insomnia. Oh, it's like not even a big deal. It is. Like right now, I'm physically upset at myself for the decision that I made. Because what happened is I laid down, I got, all lumped together, it was like an hour and 10 minutes, but broken up, it was basically like 40 minutes of sleep. And it was only like basically resting. It wasn't even real sleep. It was just like, I'm laying down, I'm like, my eyes are closed, but I'm not like actually sleeping. I'm still aware of what's happening around me. Kind of sleep. Like that, like daydreaming, if you will. And, oh, that's really good. This may be the run we stick with. And so, I then woke up. I proceeded to hop onto somebody's stream that I was going to watch because I needed something to occupy my brain so I could fall asleep. Wasn't able to fall asleep to their stream. Hopped on my own stream and streamed for 4 hours until about an hour, not an hour, until about 35, 40 minutes ago. And now I sit here mad at myself because I didn't just lay back down and try to go back to sleep. And that's a decision that you have to decide for yourself. And you shouldn't be allowed to decide those types of things for yourself because you always make the wrong decision. The right decision was to lay back down and try to go to sleep. If you wake up a half hour late and you have to show up to work a half hour late, so fucking be it. You're not gonna lose your job. You're not in any jeopardy if you sleep in by 5 minutes and show up, 5 minutes late to work. That's fine. You will, however, be not obviously fired or anything, but you will be in trouble, and you don't want your attendance to drop into the danger zone of being like calling in for whatever reason. Especially a reason like this. I'm not gonna call in. You guys don't need to be like worried about my safety or my job security or anything like that. Like, there's no risk there at all. But the point being, like, in my position, that's the kind of situation you can find yourself in. You can find yourself in a situation where it's like, well, it's an hour before I have to go to work and I'm fucking dead. What do? Do I not go to work tomorrow because of a stupid, immature, dumb decision I made? Or do I go to work tomorrow, push through the day? Because, like, right now it's Thursday, so technically all I have to do is make it through tomorrow, feeling like I am right now, and I'll have my whole weekend to myself. I'll have the whole damn weekend, I'll feel great, Everything will be wonderful. It's fantastic. I'm going to do a lot of streaming and do some phone calling. All kinds of fun stuff. However, I still have to make it through not only the rest of tonight to get into tomorrow for work, but I'd have to make it through tomorrow for work and get home and then stream for like 6 hours. And so like the mindset that I'm in right now with everybody is I want people to be aware, and I might even announce it on Discord. This video is not going to be out until like possibly like tomorrow afternoon. So the chances of me already being streaming by now, or by you already getting this Discord message by now and being aware of it pre this video, are pretty high. But I'm going to mention it anyway. This is just wonderful. This is just beyond amazing. This run right now is stupid good. It's so stupid good. If there's something even remotely worth it in here, we're going to do it. Sadly, they're all garbage. But, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, I may put out a message on Discord for everybody that's like, hey, I know I'm supposed to start streaming in the early afternoon tomorrow, but here's the thing. I'm an idiot. I have no self-control on my life. I ended up making stupid sleep mistakes by choosing not to go back to bed. And so, because of that decision, we're going to do a late stream tomorrow, and I'm going to stream later in the day, which means like, you know, 8, 9 o'clock, and stream until like early in the morning or whatever, you know. Which I'm not opposed to at all. I've done that before. I've done that, in fact, I've done that recently, where I was like, I need to, you know, I have plans directly after work. No, thank you. I have plans right after work. Sorry, guys, it's going to be a late stream, but we're going to start, you know, 2 or 3 hours later than normal, but we're still going to be doing the regular, you know, time slot for that, you know, thing. We're going to be going for 4, 5, 6 hours, or whatever it is. And I just want everybody to be aware if that is the decision I make, if that's the decision that I make. Because what I would do is I would go home from work tomorrow, or today technically, and then I would go to bed right out of work so that I can get some amount of sleep. That's, of course, if I can sleep. And then I would proceed to wake up a little while later and start the stream, whenever the sleep has been accomplished. There's a very serious possibility of that being what happens. And if it does, I want y'all to be aware that that is what happens. And of why it happened. And if you're not one of the people that watch these videos, then you're going to be a little lagging behind and you might not know. But if you do watch these videos, you're probably already aware of the issue before this video started. Because insomnia is not something that is just fixable, insomnia is in kind of the same camp that depression is. And I also suffer from like, clinical depression as well, but like, we're not going to focus on that right now. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the sleep. Because I think when people think of like an insomnia, they think of just somebody who chooses not to sleep. That's not really what it is. It's actually not the person's choice at all. Your body just tells you when you can and can't sleep because it chooses when to go into REM and whatnot. Sometimes it just chooses not to go into REM sleep, and you lay there tired as all hell, trying to sleep, but you can't. Like, you're dead tired, and you still can't sleep. I'm not fighting Hush. You are dead tired, and you just cannot actually fall into sleep. You'll be laying there, like, basically passed out, but conscious of everything happening around you. Which, mind you, is an actual nightmare to deal with, as a person who has to deal with that, you know, several times a week. It's horribly uncomfortable. It feels like you have no control over your body. You're just laying down, tired, but you can't do anything about it. And it's really kind of scary at some points, because you're like, I can't sleep. I physically cannot sleep. And when you physically cannot actually achieve sleep, it can ruin many aspects of your life. It can ruin work, it can ruin personal life, relationships. I've had relationships that were horribly unstable because of sleeping, you know, at odd hours. And it's just, yeah, it's not fun. So basically, the moral of the story is, what I'm trying to get to is that I think that when people hear about sleeping, insomnia, they think about it the same way that they do depression, and they have that same attitude where it's just like, when they hear somebody has insomnia, they're like, oh, why don't you just fucking go to sleep? Get tired, go to sleep. Kind of like when somebody has depression, they're like, well, just fucking cheer up, be happy. It's like, that's not the fix, though. Like, you can be physically, like, exhausted to the point of not even being able to form a concrete sentence, and still, this is basically the best run of all time, but you could basically get to the point where you can't even form a complete sentence because you're so tired, and still be laying there not able to fall asleep. You'll get actually to the point, I've been to this point many times, I've been to this point earlier this week, and I don't want, again, don't worry about me, it's just a physical condition, there's nothing anybody here can do to fix it or remedy it, it's just something that you have to kind of deal with. But you get to the point in that situation where you're so exhausted, you're actually physically beat to the point of like no return. The way insomnia works is if you can't physically fall asleep, if you can't enter REM sleep at that point, your body actually starts to enter a phase of sickness where you actually start like shaking, shivering. It's like almost like pseudo hypothermia. You feel like you have to puke, you throw up. Sometimes you do throw up. I was throwing up all earlier this week for a couple of days because of the same thing. Where it's like I can't sleep, and because my body is trying to sleep but it can't sleep, it's just like confused and convulsing and shit. So it's weird. I don't know what I'm talking about. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, of course, it was a short one. That was actually like a really good Samson run. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope I didn't bore you with my conversation today. It's one of two things with Penta who's really tired. Is either he rambles about nothing for 25-30 minutes, or he's just like patchy and only says like a couple of words every few minutes. So hopefully it was some kind of entertaining and maybe you learned something this episode. I don't know. Either way, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.